the shir of Tezvav, that means tomorrow's shir. Ach, however, we know that David HaMelech used Torah as midas, gave him a lot of joy, gave him a lot of pleasure, and according to the Maimonim, he used it to cut off his enemies. Ach, mashay mishtabeach, the fact that he praised himself, b'tehilas ha-Torah b'malasazu, in saying the praise of the Torah, being with this Maila, v'amaz midas hayuli v'chuli, and he said that it was song. In other words, it seems that Alter Rebbe doesn't mind that he got joy from it. Alter Rebbe doesn't mind that he used it to cut off his enemies. But he minds that he identified the whole Torah as being this, that the inyan of Torah is midas. Then after that he was punished. HaKadosh tells him, Zemidas Kadosh Lahu, you call Torah song? Yeah? Yes. Calling Torah as midas was not appropriate of the Melech. Why not? Why? Because the truth be told, that Malazazu, this Maila, Shakal Elam that all the worlds are nothing. The Gabi Diktik Echad Mimena compared to one nuance of Torah, of the Torah, even though that's great, still, it's the back of the depths of Hashem's thought. There's another place, the name of the Harizal, Al Maimer Azal, on the Pasuk, the Gemara, Neiv Leis Chachma Shal Maila Torah. What falls down from the Eibishter's wisdom is the Torah. So if the fall down from the Eibishter's wisdom is the Torah, what's the Eibishter's wisdom? And of course the answer is, what falls down, this is the Nigla, the Halacha, the Cherayim. And the Torah itself, this is the Pnimius, this is the Nister, and this is the Panim. Aval Pnimius Shebe'emek, the face of the Torah, which is a deeper dimension of Torah. Shu Pnimius of Torah, which is the inner dimension of the Torah, which doesn't come down to the level of being above the world. Him Yuchadas Lagami V'Nitzay Baruch Hu is absolutely one with the Eibishter's infinite light. Hamalubash Ba, which is revealed in it, Betachas Ayicha, with the greatest level of oneness. Okay? Ulagabi Ein Sof Baruch Hu, and compared to the Ein Sof, which is Pnimius HaTorah, Kol Ha'elam is Kol Mamish V'ayim V'efes Mamish. The worlds are absolutely nothing. Not they're insignificant, like I said before, they don't exist b'chlal. Ki Atahu Achalei Nivra Eilam V'chulin. Right? From the perspective of Ein Sof. Just like before Hashem created the world, there was nothing besides for Eir. Now that Hashem created the world, there's nothing besides for Eir. So Mitzad Chitzeni is HaTorah. Torah is bigger than the world, a lot bigger than the world. Mitzad Pnimi is HaTorah, there's no Metzias to the world whatsoever. Okay? Okay, now I want to say something in my own words. That we'll call, what we usually do as a Chassidus, we'll call Acharayim of Torah Seichel. And the Panim of Torah Lakus. And David was celebrating the Halachas, the Seichel of Torah. And the Pnimius Torah, which is the Lakus of Torah, Shalei Be'erach, even more than this. Therefore, Gam the Pnimius HaTorah, even the higher dimension of Torah, Ein L'Shabcha Klal, it's wrong to praise it. Pnimius HaTorah, Ein L'Shabcha Klal, but Hilas Chayes Kol Eilam. You can't praise it as being the praise of life for all the worlds. Chitzoni is HaTorah, you could say it's bigger than the worlds. Pnimius HaTorah, you can't even call it bigger. Ma'achad Le'mamish Chshivi. Because when the Gabe Pnimius HaTorah, it's not the pshat, the worlds are insignificant, they don't exist. Ubebchinas Pnimiyusa. And on the inner dimension of Torah, the Lakus of Torah, you can't call it the joy of the heart of a person and his toy. Ella, but rather, so to speak, Simchas Leiv Shashuya Melech is the joy of the heart and the placing of the king, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Eibishter, which toys with the Torah. Ki Elakim even darka. Only Atzma was the most. Elakim means Helama Atzmi, which is higher than Havaya, understands its pathways. V'yadam Akemo Malas knows its place and its step. And he knows that B'dias Atzmek V'yachal only by knowing himself. Pnimius HaTorah, it himself nobody knows. Aval Ne'alama Mayin Kol Chay, it's concealed from all living things. It says a funny layer. Nobody can see the Pnimius HaTorah. Dainu B'chinas Pnimiyusa, the inner dimension of Torah, K'may Sham, as it's written there, B'Shem Arizal, in the name of the Arizal. I'm not sure where Sham is. Okay? But as the Pasuk says, that the Torah is a plaything for the Eibishter, Etzlei Dafke, only to the Eibishter. Mitzachakes Lefanav, it laughs before him, Lefanav Dafke, only before him. Dainu B'chinas Pnimiyusa, which is the Pnimius of the Torah. That's what the Pasuk says, Amun. Okay, that the Torah is called Amun, that Torah is the source of the creation of the world. But Al-Tikr Amun al-Ayman means the way it's the source of the world, which is called still in Pnimius HaTorah. I'm not sure myself how we understand it, but this is the pshat. Amen is from the word teacher, inspirer, giver. Okay?
As opposed to Amun is maker.
I don't know what Amun means. Okay? So, Pnimiyas Atera, no Jew has a shaykhis to. It's the Eibishtes. David HaMelech can't say Zmiras Ha'luch HaChavez B'Gara Pnimiyas Atera. But Alter Rebbe says he shouldn't have said about Chitenis Atera either. And he continues. V'abchin is Acherayim Omer on the Chitenis Atera. The pasuk continues and it says Mesachek is B'Tevelad say he plays on the land, which is his land. V'Shashu he has the Adam and the playthings of people. So there's the Tainug of the Eibishter and the Tainug of people. Ki Atera Nitno Atera was given B'chinas Panav V'Achar. Have a front and a back, a lakus and a seichel. K'diksiv Megillah Ava that's written in the vision that Zechariah have of the floating Megillah, the Zechariah, V'Ksuv Panav V'Achar was written front and back, and Torah also has front and back. So the Alter Rebbe says two things. A, you can't say about Pnimis HaTorah it's your toy. B, you shouldn't say about Chitenis HaTorah it's your toy. Why? Because you're separating Chitenis from Pnimis. He centered on the Chitenis HaTorah. And he defined the Torah by being Zmiris, by being his plaything. In other words, he forgot that there's a Pnimis HaTorah and that's the Ikir. L'kach nenesh b'shikloi was punished with forgetfulness. Habam and b'chinas Zacharayim, which comes from the back. Because if you have a shaykhus to Pnimis HaTorah, it's not the pshat you remember. You can't forget. Because forgetfulness comes from a hell of a hesed. And the beginning of the hell of a hesed is the Zacharayim of Torah. And the midah keneged midah, what he forgot was exactly the same thing as the inyan of separating Zacharayim from Panim.
To say that about Chitenis HaTorah, not a problem. The problem is...
No, you shouldn't say it about Chitenis HaTorah either.
You shouldn't say it about Chitenis HaTorah
because you're separating. That's right, exactly. You're separating.
Chitenis HaTorah, if you look at it by itself, but you can't look at it by itself.
That's right. V'nel and men lefisha, and he forgot to finish a pasuk. Mashakasav, the Torah says, Aved is HaKadosh Aleim, that the Aron has to be carried, holy work. Bakosef, he saw they carry it on their shoulders. Right? How do they carry it on their shoulders?
Well,
the Aron.
What's the problem with separating it and thinking about it?
Because the whole kavanah is to connect Primus with Chitenis HaTorah. And when you, in other words, the job of a Jew, we had this in the previous shtickle, to be mamshach alakus and Torah, to insist that the ikar Torah is pnimius. And therefore it's not my shashuim b'chlal.
Yeah, but let's say they come out from different paths.
And because the lakus, the Chitenis is connected to the pnimius. The idea of different paths is only in Klippa. In Nivrayim. And what did he forget? The Aron. Now, how did they carry the Aron? 4 men carried the Aron. But they all faced it. The men walking in the front had to walk backwards because you couldn't turn your back to the Aron. Which means that the way the Aron was carried was kulei upon him. And the idea was lechaber uleyachid, to bind and to unify. As a kitfayim, the shoulders. Shem bechin zacharayim, which are the back. El aved is the holy work. He chachmei law, which is chachma vatil's bechin, is upon him the pnimius of the Torah. And the way they carried the Aron was mechaber, the Acharayim, the Kosef, the Gav, with upon him. And what he did was, he put the wagon in the Aron in a wagon. I looked up now, it's Taftena Pasha Shmini. When Uzzah died, they were bringing it back from the house of a man named Avinodov. And then Uzzah was killed because what happened was the Aron started to fall out of the wagon. So he tried to settle it. Because it should not have been in the wagon in the first place. It should have been carried. He touched it. Touched the Aron. And David HaMelech felt very bad. And he left it by a Yid named Ovid Ha'adomi.
What,
and
the Aron?
The Aron. And then this guy had murdered the Kebracha, so David brought it to Yerushalayim. And then you have the whole story, how he was dancing and singing.
Yeah.
Right, after.
David Mazan and the Mufal.
Yeah, right. Shemisham nimshach aluchat shebaron. And that from the pnimis of Alakus comes the luchas, which were in the Aron. And what do we know about the luchas? The luchas were kulei upon him. The luchas of Noach Erayim, when she calls the Ksuvim Mishnei Evreim V'Gemer, that the Aron has no back, the luchas were kulei upon him. And it says in the Gemara that if not v'chet ha'egel, the Torah also would have been kulei upon him. But now the Torah has upon him in Noach Erayim, but the luchas are kulei upon him. And they're in the Aron. So when you carry the Aron, the whole symbolism of the Aron is the idea that even though we're holding by Chitanius, you should know there's a Pnimius. Even though we only sense it, the Ikir is upon him. And this is what Moshe forgot. Midah keneged midah. Like it says in the Gemara, the luchas have no front and back, it was kulei upon him. Wait a minute. I'm waiting to get shtickle. I'm ready to get shtickle.